How will all of these overnight cues impact our own markets? Our research team is joining in with how the trade setup looks like, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and of course the setup on the F&O side of things as well. Firstly, Vamakshi joins in to get all the market cues we need to watch out for. Vamakshi, good morning. It was a session to forget for the bulls, particularly for the large caps. But what are the cues you are watching out for today?
Well, absolutely, Hormaz. It was a disappointing start to the new financial year. The Nifty slipped by almost 350 points. The Sensex was also down close to about 1,400 points. The market breadth, though, interestingly, was largely in favor of the advances, and therefore the broader markets relatively performed better than the benchmark indices. The losses on Nifty Mid-Cap 100 were, down, were limited to actually 0.86%. Nifty Small Cap was also down 0.7%. As far as sectoral indices are concerned, most of the sectoral indices closed in the red, barring, of course, the Nifty Media Index. Realty was the top drag. We had stocks like Godrej Properties, Prestige Estates, Oberoi Realty down nearly 3 to 4% in trade yesterday. IT, financial services and pharma indices continued to see some selling pressure. The India VIX, interestingly, surged by nearly 8%, and this indicated rising uncertainty, largely driven by the tariff rollout that is expected later tonight. As far as the US markets are concerned, S&P 500 finished about 0.4% higher, and this is after the index was flip-flopping in trade between the positive and the negative. The Nasdaq closed nearly 1% higher, while on the flip side, the Dow Jones closed marginally lower. So largely, it's a positive handover coming in from the US markets. As far as the cues to watch today are concerned, the most important will be the Liberation Day. US will be rolling out their tariffs, the reciprocal tariffs rather. So we'll be keeping a close eye out on that. S&P manufacturing PMI data for India will be out, and the US will also be reporting their crude oil inventories. Important levels to watch: the crucial support zone lies at 23,100. On the upside, could see some major resistance at 23,500. As of now, the GIFT Nifty is indicating a flat start to the Indian market.
We're looking to hold on to those levels of 23,000 on the downside. Vamakshi, thanks a lot for that update. And over to Upasana now, who lists out the stocks that you need to keep an eye out for today. Upasana, good morning.
Good morning. Well, it looks like a long list of stocks in focus today. First up, let me start with Coal India. The company announces coal price increase of rupees 10 per ton across coking and non-coking category, and the price increase will be effective from 16th of April. Next up is Power Grid. The company becomes a successful bidder to set up 400 kilowatt of transmission line in Madhya Pradesh. Next up is NMDC. The company has reported its March production data, which is down by about 27% on a YoY basis, and FY25 company's production stands at 44 metric ton, which misses the guidance of overall 50 metric ton is what the company had indicated earlier. Now, Hyundai India will also be in focus as the March sales of the company is higher than estimates. Overall, the sales saw an uptick of 2% on a YoY basis. MOIL will also be in focus as company takes price increase for iron ore with a magnesium content of 45% and more, a price increase of up to 3% and 0.5 increase for an iron ore magnesium content below 45%. Now, CSB Bank will also be in focus as the bank releases its Q4 update. Advances saw an increase of 30% on a YoY basis and 10% sequentially. Deposits saw an uptick of 24% and 10% sequentially. V-Mart will also be in focus as the company again releases its Q4 business update. The revenue saw an uptick of 17%, while SSG's growth stands at 8%. Piramal Enterprise will also be in focus as SC upholds Piramal Capital's plan for DHFL, and NCLAT order for reconsidering resolution plan is rejected. Hence, this stock will be in focus. Sandhar Tech will acquire Sundaram Clayton's aluminium die casting business, and acquisition is via all cash deal at 163 crores. And lastly, Godavari Power Ispat will also be in focus as company says that it has temporarily suspended mining activity at company's Burai Tibo iron ore mine with effect from 1st April 2025. Hence, all these stocks will be on our radar today. We'll be closely watching out for all of them.
We will closely watch out for them indeed. Upasana, thanks a lot for that. And lastly, Sudarshan joins in with cues from the F&O space. Sudarshan, good morning. Now the mission is to protect 23,000 on the downside, but what are the F&O cues indicating now?
It was a weak day of trade, and especially like after weak global cues, even on the domestic front, cues were mixed, and that was the reason that we saw a big fall, especially in the benchmark indices that have underperformed broader markets. And because of like outperformance, relatively outperformance by broader market, we saw market breadth was in favor of advances. It was a minor in the favor of advances. And yesterday also we saw that FIs continue to sell, and yesterday they have sold more than rupees 5,900 crore in the cash market, while DIs have bought more than rupees 4,000 crore. Now, if you dig deeper and see the derivative data in the index futures also, FI have sold almost rupees 3,000 crore. But interestingly, in the index options and the stock futures, they have done some buying. Now, on the long front, they have reduced the exposure by 4,650 contracts, but at the same time, they have added short positions, and here the addition is more than 12,000 contracts. Now, with this, FI's long exposure now reduced to nearly 31%. But if you look at the option front, on the call side, 23,500 call has seen maximum addition of, that is addition of more than 90 lakh shares. And 23,400 call has seen addition of more than 66 lakh shares. Now, on the put side, 22,800 put has seen addition of nearly 24 lakh share. So it indicates you that on the downside, if we breach 23,000, next support comes around 22,850. That is also 20-day moving average. On the upside, resistance around in the range of 23,400 to 23,500. Lastly, in stocks in focus, keep an eye on banking heavyweights like HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank, because the reason is FIs have sold for two consecutive days. And another stock that I'll keep an eye on is Piramal Enterprises, and the reason is Supreme Court has uphold basically the DHFL's resolution plan, and that's the reason this stock will be in focus.
We'll keep an eye out on all of these names. Sudarshan, thanks a lot for that.